They had everything, until one moment shattered their perfect world. Can love survive the ultimate test? Welcome to Echoes of the Past. Lukas and Emma were the couple everyone admired. Their love was strong, sincere, built on trust and tenderness. Together, they had weathered tough times, supported each other's dreams and plans. They dreamed of buying a house by the lake, getting a dog, and greeting every sunrise hand in hand. Emma worked as a journalist for a local publishing house, while Lukas ran his own design firm. Their life was busy but cozy, full of warm rituals, Saturday walks in the park, candlelit dinners, and long conversations deep into the night. It seemed like nothing could destroy their happiness. But the past has a strange way of returning when you least expect it. One evening, Lukas attended a high school reunion. Emma couldn't go because of urgent work, but she simply smiled and wished him a great time. "Don't drink too much," she teased, kissing his cheek. Lukas chuckled and left, unaware that this evening would change his life. In the lively restaurant filled with laughter and chatter, he saw her, Isabella, his first love. She had barely changed. The same piercing brown eyes, the soft smile that stirred warm memories. They hadn't seen each other in nearly 10 years, and now, standing face to face, it felt as if time had rewound. "Lukas," she whispered, looking at him with gentle surprise. "Isabella." He felt his heart skip a beat. The conversation flowed naturally. They talked about the past, laughed about high school antics, reminisced about their unfulfilled plans, the love that once felt eternal. "Are you happy?" she suddenly asked. "Yes," he answered without hesitation. But then he thought about it, because for some reason he didn't want to leave. At first it seemed harmless, just friendly conversations, a touch of nostalgia. They exchanged numbers, sent a few messages. But soon that wasn't enough. They started meeting again, at cafes in the park. Isabella told him how her marriage ended in divorce, how she moved back to the city, hoping for a fresh start. And Lukas, he found himself drawn to her more and more. He convinced himself it meant nothing. After all, he loved Emma. They were building a future together. But whenever he was with Isabella, something inside him shifted. It was as if he was once again the young man who had loved her recklessly. The first time he lied to Emma was a week after meeting Isabella. "I'll be late at work," he said, avoiding her gaze. That evening, he saw Isabella again, and then again, and again, until it became something more. Emma began to notice the changes. Lukas was distracted, more tired, sometimes forgetting simple things, like their plans to see a movie. "Is everything okay?" she asked one evening, studying his face. "Of course, just work," he replied with a small smile. But his smile no longer warmed her the way it used to. She didn't want to assume the worst, but small details piled up. The scent of unfamiliar perfume on his shirt, his phone always by his side, the way he stopped meeting her eyes when he said, "I love you." And then there was the hairpin, not hers, left in his car. Emma picked it up, feeling her stomach twist. She decided to find out the truth. Emma didn't confront him immediately. She waited. She watched. Then one evening, she followed him. When he left his office and turned in a direction that was definitely not home, her heart pounded. She saw them at the restaurant. Lukas sat across from Isabella, their gazes filled with something undeniable. This wasn't just friendship. Emma didn't approach. She walked away. That night, she packed his things and left them by the door. When he returned, she sat in the dark, looking at him with cold but not angry eyes. "Why?" was all she asked. Lukas couldn't answer. She didn't yell. She didn't accuse. "Leave," she said calmly. And he did. Lukas had thought he was in control. He never planned to leave Emma, never meant to destroy their relationship. He told himself it was just meetings, just conversations. But now, sitting alone in his temporary apartment, surrounded by packed bags, he felt nothing but emptiness. For days, Lukas couldn't eat or sleep properly. He stared at his phone but never dialed her number. He knew it was useless. Then he went back to their apartment. He knew Emma wasn't home. She had gone to her sister's. He stood at the doorway, inhaling the familiar scent still lingering in the air. On the kitchen table, there were two mugs. Their mugs. The one with tiny flowers was her favorite. He remembered buying it for her, remembered her laughter when she said, This is my new favorite cup because you picked it. Now he realized what he had lost, and for the first time, the tears he never allowed himself surfaced. He could no longer deny it. He hadn't just been a fool. He had made the biggest mistake of his life. A few days later, he met with Isabella. "Are you okay?" she asked, noticing his hollow eyes. Lukas shook his head. "I ruined everything." Isabella studied him for a moment before lowering her gaze. "You love her, don't you?" "I always have," he admitted quietly. Isabella sighed, offering a small, sad smile. "I always knew." "Then why?" "Because you didn't want to admit it yourself." She met his eyes. "You were looking for your past in me, and I was looking for a new beginning in you." Lukas clenched his fists. "I was selfish." She nodded. "We both were." That night was their last. They didn't say goodbye with words, just a knowing look, understanding that this was the right thing to do. When Isabella walked away, Lukas knew there was only one path ahead. Lukas didn't know if Emma would ever forgive him, but he knew he couldn't just disappear. He started small. He left a letter at her door. Months passed. Their relationship rebuilt, step by step. It wasn't easy. Emma had doubts. Lukas feared losing her forever. But one summer evening, sitting by the lake where they had once confessed their love, Emma looked at him and smiled. "Are you still afraid?" Lukas shook his head. "No." She took his hand. "Then promise me you'll never let go again." Lukas squeezed her fingers. "I promise." And in that moment, he knew. He didn't need to prove anything anymore. She had chosen him again,